I like you FGT Lite, especially the flexibility between seating positions. But after my not so successful stint as a Formula 1 driver, I think I may just stick to rally and GT style racing. If only Next Level Racing made a budget-friendly chassis that doesn't require you to rig up your own ratchets in order to keep the whole thing from collapsing under heavy braking. Wait a minute. What is that? GT Lite Pro? That's literally what I'm looking for. Wow, thanks guys. You guys really seem to be listening to The Void online. They are also super supportive of budding content creators and has set us up with a 5% discount code for any Next Level Racing product on their website. Not only do you get a little off the top if you use the code, but it really does help secure more consistent and higher quality content for this channel. You can always leave a like to show your support in a way that doesn't cost any money either. And maybe even subscribe if you enjoy sim racing content. There's a lot more of that on the way. Alright, enough waffling. The thing's already at the door. Let's rip it open and get this review on the road, starting with a quick unboxing. As like my other quick and dirty reviews, please don't expect a super technically detailed review with an in-depth analysis of manufacturing materials and assembly process. There are far better, more qualified reviewers out there for those. I recommend Will from Boosted Media. But if you're watching me, you probably already know who he is. Tell him I say hi. Instead, I tackle the product in a much more casual way, as if your own fellow sim racing buddy was giving a review directly to you while you guys are on Discord while waiting for Steam to update. I'll give my honest feedback, showcasing where I see the pros and cons of the chassis, and of course whether or not it has my seal of approval, aka worth the money. Next Level Racing is one of a handful of sim racing companies that really understand a product all the way from its design down to its packaging and marketing. Seriously, in such an ever-growing but still niche market, getting instruction booklets that make IKEA bare bones is a really nice touch. Don't want to read? Go check out all of it in video format for you troglodytes allergic to reading. And of course, the GT Lite Pro is no different. It's clear Next Level Racing did its homework and saw that the majority of us reinforced our GT and FGT lights with ratchet straps to support the frame under heavy braking. Although not a perfect solution, it did hold up pretty darn well and was my primary chassis for over a year with 8Nm CSL wheelbase and load cell pedals. We'll see how this GT Lite Pro holds up to our erratic driving style. Assembly was very straightforward thanks to the aforementioned manual. It took me just about an hour and a half to assemble, with an additional 30 minutes or so to attach the wheelbase and pedals. The ability to pop off the shifter base and install your shifter and or e-brake first is a plus. There are plenty of sizing options to perfectly find your exact body type. For reference, I'm about 5'10" and 145 pounds, and was able to quickly find a setup with minimal issue. The only drawback of the spring-loaded locking mechanism is the limited placement of the wheel, as you only have a few set options based on the locking gear. The best way I found getting into these Next Level Racing Lite cockpits without having to open up the swivel arm, the way I would do it is by sticking one foot in, first sitting your booty down, and then using some flexibility to bring this in. Alright. Good luck, my fellow racers. I am using my Fanatec CSL 8Nm direct drive wheelbase and a CSL load cell pedals for this test. According to the literature, this rig is rated for 13Nm, so my guy shouldn't be a problem. Let's hop inside and test out the rig in a few different sims, starting with some rallying. We'll be comparing it with its big 80/20 brother, the FGT Elite Lite, and see if it's worth just sticking to these convenient foldable cockpits if you don't plan on upgrading past an entry-level direct drive wheelbase and load cell pedals, which I feel like a majority of sim racers like me end up doing. After throwing myself around Australia in a Subi Impreza, I was very surprised to feel no noticeable wiggles or jiggles while driving. Don't let the footage deceive you. Yes, the wheelbase is shaking an observable amount, but I guarantee, while you're driving and completely immersed in the moment, the cockpit is solid enough to drive consistently. For reference, even my FGT Elite Lite cockpit's wheelbase has some observable flexing, but even then, that feels like it's planted to the ground when driving. The pedal base is as rigid as ever, probably more rigid than the wheelbase actually. The biggest drawback of the FGT Lite with all its Next Level Racing lock joints was its loss in stability while under braking. I wouldn't really be able to tell you how it did without the ratchet straps, to be honest, as I never had it set up without it. It was just too weak without them. So, I'll be honest. I was a little skeptical at Next Level Racing's solution of more Velcro straps on this small swivel hinge joint thing. But again, don't let the footage fool you too much. The pedal base is solid enough to immerse you into whatever car you are driving. I am able to heel toe despite wearing the Daiso branded Crocs in sport mode. I can still get really precise with my throttle brake input while rallying. In a GT3 car on a circuit, The brakes are locked in place enough to consistently trail brake around whatever circuit you're currently on. However, an area of noticeable flex even while driving was the shifter mount. My eBay e-brake isn't properly screwed on, but the eBay shifter is. And man, it is painful mis-shifting 2 or even 3 gears because of the flex. Next Level Racing also took the time and effort this time to add more padding to the seat, which not only makes it more comfortable for longer stints, but it also helps make the chassis look more legit. My friends would often joke how the FGT Lite reminded them of a foldable camping chair due to its thin seat material. When the GT Lite Pro is paired with a Next Level Racing Lite freestanding monitor, I can't help but think, wow, I'm really in the hole now with no chance of getting out, cause damn, the rig is looking pretty complete now. It should go without saying, but beginner sim racers really seem to underrate how important consistency is when it comes to racing, especially when it comes to your gear. If your pedals and wheels are constantly shifting even a few millimeters from corner to corner, you're losing any chance of being able to extract absolutely everything out of yourself and the car. I was honestly shocked at how much my trail braking has plateaued my consistency and lap times after installing my pedals onto an 80/20 chassis. And with all that being said, I was going into this review with a healthy level of skepticism. But I'm happy to say that the GT Lite Pro is more than enough solid for any entry-level combo. I probably wouldn't put anything stronger than what I have here, despite Next Level Racing's bold claim of this cockpit able to support up to 13 Nm. I mentioned before that I was not a big fan of folding up the FGT Lite with all your gear on it, as it felt clunky and maybe even dangerous to your gear or your back if you're not careful. Despite knowing what configuration I wanted, it always took longer than I wanted changing between GT and Formula style seating to the point where I never switched back to the GT style despite it being more rigid. Next Level Racing have addressed those concerns with a very quick and easy step-by-step way to fold up the GT Lite Pro to where it actually does take less than 5 minutes to fold up or out. The added wheels on the back led are also super convenient for wheel bearing around the rig and may save your already aching back. I will note that I'm always surprised when other reviewers don't mention this. As convenient as these foldable light cockpits can be for saving space, when they are actually in use, they end up taking more real estate than a normal 80/20 rig. If you plan on buying any of these light cockpits knowing you're never going to fold them up, thinking you'll be saving space compared to an 80/20 rig, I would suggest you should reconsider saving a bit more and buying one of those instead, for ultimate future-proof in terms of both rigidity and expandability. Other than the shifter mount being as unstable as my sim racing career, I wholeheartedly recommend this cockpit for any budding sim racer. I'd argue to not even try with the GT Lite when you can get a far superior product for just $50 more. I would only recommend the FGT Lite to those of you like me with undiagnosed ADHD and cannot commit to either style of racing. If you don't ever plan on driving open wheelers, skip the FGT Lite and grab this GT Lite Pro instead. If you only want to race open wheelers, well, I'd say just save up for the FGT or the FGT Elite Lite if you're okay with non-foldability. If you want that foldability, well, I'd say pray to Next Level Racing to release something like this GT Lite Pro, but for the Formula style seating. If only something like that existed. If only. Let me know what you guys think about this cockpit, the review, or just about your day down in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, consider leaving a like as it really does let me know that this is free time well spent. Maybe even subscribe because I got a lot more sim racing content coming up, and I really hope to see you there. But if not, I'll probably see you never. Toodles.